There's a cool opportunity here to check in on some of the historical homes in the area of Tumwater, in Tumwater's historic district. I'm happy to have on the phone line right now from the Olympia Tumwater Foundation, the Public History and Development Manager. It's Don Trosper. Good morning, Don.
Well, hello. Good to have you here on this hot day. Actually, it's not hot yet, but it will be later.
It sure will be, and it sounds like it'll be a hot time coming up this Sunday as three of Tumwater's finest historic homes will be open to the public during Heritage Day. First things first, tell us a little bit about the Olympia Tumwater Foundation, the couple properties that you guys manage, including the Falls Park, and then we'll talk about these homes.
Yeah, well, the foundation was started back in 1950 by the Schmidt family of the brewery, and it was a nonprofit that was started in 1950, and they did that for, being a nonprofit, their philanthropic ventures, and their first project was building and donating the Tivoli Fountain to the state capitol grounds.
Oh, wow.
But ever since that time, they now own and operate the Falls Park. It's not a city park, down below the Falls Terrace along the river there. And then also the Schmidt House and grounds. It's a multi-use house rented out for weddings and our history program and our archives. And it's really quite an operation. And now we're working with the city of Tumwater to also be kind of curators of the historic district as a whole, which includes not only Schmidt House, but Crosby House and Henderson House.
Well, I remember when I was in 8th grade middle school, Mr. Bunton at the Tumwater Middle School was my history teacher, and we as homesteaders went out there and pressed apple cider and dressed up in our old-timey garb and had a heck of a...
I probably saw you then.
I'm sure you did, and it was a heck of a lot of fun there right by the Henderson House and the Crosby House. These are real unique historical places included with that in the Schmidt House. So on Sunday, we're going to be able to go in and see some of these things?
Yeah, all three of them will be open at the same time, which is a kind of a first, I think, really, that we've done this, and we're going to be doing that more often. The next one after this Sunday will be Sunday, September 9th. We'll have another one of those. But we're excited about finally getting Henderson House open again after so many years of being remodeled and restored and closed to the public. And now we're going to be able to have an activity at each of the houses, but mainly just the open house so you can see the places. The Crosby House was one of the oldest houses in this area in the state. Actually, 1860. The ancestors of Bing Crosby lived there.
So when you say ancestors of Bing, who would that be? His grandparents or great grandparents or?
Well, we think it's great grandparents, but there's some sources that say great grandparents. But we know they're in the couple generations before Bing, so he never lived there, but I'm sure he must have come to visit his grandparents, I would guess. He was born in Tacoma and then went to school in Gonzaga.
Sure.
But at least we have that claim to fame in Tumwater to have the Crosbys.
It is a
and
real
the
beautiful
Henderson House was
too.
built in 1905, and that was for one of the early brewmasters of the old Olympia Brewery. And so that is about the same age as the Schmidt House, which was 1904. So,
yeah.
Three houses that are over 100 years old that are going to be open at the same time.
That is very cool. The other thing on the property by the Schmidt House is the rose garden there, and that is a beautiful piece.
Oh, yes, and it's kind of past its peak. It really reaches its peak around late June or so, but the roses are still blooming and looking very nice. It's the Olympia Rose Society. They've had that site now for about 28 years or so. It used to be the Schmidt's tennis court at one time.
Do you guys know how many visitors come by Tumwater Falls Park annually? You guys keep track on that?
Oh, boy, we have, well over 100,000. Probably, I've heard numbers anywhere from 150 to 250,000 people a year come by from off the freeway and just from the region. It's one of the top 5 visitor locations in the county, in Thurston County. With
the historical markers and it's a real easy path to walk around for folks of all abilities. And what's cool too is there are, obviously there's the iconic waterfall and bridge that people have seen forever on the Olympia beer cans and things like that. That is where that is at the Tumwater Falls Park. But they're also, I've seen the native plant garden there just below the Falls Terrace restaurant, and just some real nice. Do you guys do tours of the Tumwater Falls?
We certainly do. In fact, late summer is usually when we do those. We have what we call a guided Riverwalk history tours that I lead. And we have about, 6 public tours that we have on our schedule: August 16th, 25th, and 30th, and then September 1st, 6th, and 20th. And they're usually either on a Thursday at 5 p.m. or a Saturday at noon. And then also, if there is a larger group of 15 to 30 people that may want to do a special tour, we could maybe arrange that too, depending on schedules. But it's about an hour long. We take that half-mile loop that you're talking about, the trail along the river, and walk across that iconic footbridge that you get to walk in the same place at the location where that's on the beer cans.
Yeah.
But also, just about a month from now, about mid-September to mid-October, it's the salmon run coming up the fish ladder.
Yeah.
And that is a huge thing too.
And the fish come up the river and get collected there, and you're able to get right up close and see those things.
Absolutely,
I took
yeah.
my son there last year, and he loved seeing that.
It's a big draw. A lot of people come to see that.
So this Sunday from 1 to 4, it's Heritage Day at the Tumwater Historic District, and so a real unique opportunity for you to see the 3 historic homes that are on the register here in the city of Tumwater: the Crosby House, the Henderson House, and the Schmidt House. You're not going to want to miss this, because not often are these open to the public like this one.
Right.
Don Trosper, good to talk with you. Public
Likewise,
history.
and good to talk to a former homesteader.
That's right. I had such a good time doing that program. Public history and development manager for the Olympia Tumwater Foundation. Don, we'll be in touch throughout the rest of the year as things come about, okay?
Great, thank you.